Alright, the job I'm working right now on is the power jack on my camper. The motor's dead, and we're going to take this thing apart and replace the motor. Careful taking this off because it has wiring. Alright, I don't like this. These two don't want to come out. Oh, it's going to strip it. I can tell already. Oh, it's stripping it. Ah. Ah, look at that. It did it. Alright, there's two bolts in here that are going to come out. Now this can come out. Gears, greasy gear. And there's water in here, which is not good. What is holding it? Why isn't it coming out? This is all nice and dry in there, which is good. Now how do I get this motor off? Oh, there's water in here. Disgusting. That's not good. That's never going to make a motor work any better. Ah, see? Here's the problem. One last screw in here. There we go. Now. Ah, there we go. Now this will come out. I can just unplug it. Take this motor out. Here's my new motor. Let's take this one out. Oh, just two screws. This goes like this. I already see a problem here. You can see the two differences. I gotta grind out this middle part here. See if that'll do it. I'm just using a cutting wheel, which is not really the right tool, but I'm gonna use my smallest grinding wheel. That way I can get in there a little more closer without damaging. Don't like to do this, but I gotta take the guard off. This is not recommended to do this because you can easily cut yourself bad on these. So if you've never used one before, leave the guard on. If you know what you're doing, I'd still say leave it on, and normally I do too. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And one other thing is this is a grinding wheel. Now it will cut you, but it's not gonna cut you as bad as a cutting wheel. You know what I really need to do is put this in the vise. So the motor just isn't fitting yet. So what I'm going to do is I have an old chisel here, and I'm just going to see if I can't hack it. This is aluminum because I can't really grind in there. And you know what I should have done is use a Dremel tool. Look at that. That's working nicely. That'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it nicely. More than one ways to skin the cat, right? I think that'll be enough. Look at that, perfect. Lovely. All right, that makes me happy. Next steps are, let's clean this all up. We got all nasty grease in here, and with the grinding, we got some grinding dust, which is probably not so good for the gears. All right, so what I'm using to clean here, I don't have any cleaner on me right now, so in a pinch, gasoline will work. Just make sure you're not smoking if you ever use gasoline to clean. clean up this thing. One little trick when you're wire brushing is if you switch directions, it'll grab a little better because these tend to bend one way, and then you switch the other way, it'll clean a little better. All right, I'm done. Battery's dead too. All right, let's assemble this. Now I gotta remember how this thing goes back together. That's gonna be the fun part. Let's grease these all up now, and then we'll put the motor on. So the gears are greased up except for the final one that attaches to the motor, which I can do after. Let's just take these off for now and just grease up the plate. That'll keep any more rust from forming. Alright, let's put it back together. This one first. You know what? That's a bushing in there. We should grease this too. Alright, now that we got our two parts here, let's bolt it back together. It's all nicely greased up. I think next I need to actually is bolt this on here. Here's my two screws. Put this back together here. Next I gotta solder on the ends on here. So I'll just cut off the old ones. I think this is 12 gauge. 14? I think it's 12. Yeah, I think 12 and 14. I can cut it at 14 and pull it off. Let's see what we got here. One piece. I don't know if this is going to be big enough. Let's see. That'll be fine. James has a fever.
Really?
Yep.
You think he has it?
Quite possibly. Now we're all going to get it.
And then, are we going to go to church?
We'll see. I think I last used this for... That's right, I use it for melting plastic. But you need this, you need to be able to tin this. I think I need to wire brush this clean. There we go. Basically you want to tin the ends. Now I'm going to do these ends. As you can see, once the wire gets hot enough, the solder will just melt into it. And then the other end, as long as you have a little puddle on the end of your soldering iron, that'll be the contact to heat up. If you just have if your soldering iron is dry, it's going to have a hard time heating up the wire. Some people wind them together and then solder it. You can do that too. I find this works just as good. That's never coming apart now. Then you pull up your heat shrink tube. Make sure the solder's not too hot because it can shrink before you get it over the whole thing. And now you can get a heat gun. What I find is just your soldering iron. If you just go nice and close, almost touch it, that will shrink it easily. You don't really need a heat gun. You can if you're doing tons of it, if you're doing a big project with lots of this. But I find that just rubbing this over, just almost touching it or kind of touching it, does a nice job of shrinking it. Just watch that little gap there. I'll work my way up and you'll see it just shrink. And just kind of touching it, but just not. See, look at that. Like magic. Done. Well, I guess we can wire it back up to the camper and see if everything's working. This can go back on here. There we go. before I do too much more work, I want to test it. So let's get the ground on. So red is on the left. Thinking it should be working now. Oh, no lights. Why is this not working? Nothing. All right, there's a fuse here. That's probably what it is. Bad fuse. All right, we got some replacements. We'll put some in the trailer. And we got lights. It is making a racket. I don't like that. All right, let's put this thing back together. Okay. Well, motor works, but it's making a lot of noise. I don't trust it. So I'm going to be replacing this with a new one. Again for 150 bucks. So in a future video, watch and I'll show you how to replace the whole jack itself, which is a lot more of a straightforward job. Hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe, hit like, and hit the notification bell. Thanks.